Imagine this. The person you love most in the world, the person you built 7 years of your life around, throws it all away for someone they barely know. And then, after shattering your heart, they have the audacity to ask you for updates on your dog. Well, when my ex tried that with me, I made sure every single update reminded him exactly what I thought about him. If you've ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, if you've ever wanted justice after heartbreak, then stick around. Because this story is one of the sweetest, pettiest, and most hilariously satisfying revenges you'll ever hear. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and get comfortable. You're going to enjoy this one. I was 25, engaged, and thought I was on the path to my happily ever after. My fiancé and I had been together for 7 years. 7 of the most defining years of my life. I grew up with him. We went from broke college kids scraping by with instant ramen to young adults planning our wedding and building a home. Or at least, that's what I thought. Because behind the smiles, the I love yous, and the promises of forever, something else was festering. Something I couldn't quite put my finger on. Until it blew up in my face. It started small. A new name popping up on his phone. A laugh that didn't sound like it was meant for me. Late night scrolling with his screen tilted just slightly away whenever I walked into the room. And when I said, "Hey, who's this girl you keep texting?" I got the same rehearsed line every single time. "Don't worry, babe. She's just my best friend." Just my best friend. But tell me, what kind of best friend only appears after midnight? What kind of best friend gets more smiles than the woman you promised to marry? Fast forward to a random Tuesday. We'd been fighting more, my gut twisting tighter every day. But still, I didn't expect it to happen like this. He sat me down on the couch we'd picked out together, the one our dog Rosie loved curling up on, and said the words that cracked my world open. "This isn't working anymore. I think we should break up." No explanation that made sense. No real closure. Just a cold, practiced speech like he'd rehearsed it in the mirror. And then, not even 24 hours later, I see him on social media. Smiling, kissing, posting about how in love he is, with a girl he had just flown out to meet for the first time. The girl from TikTok. The so-called best friend. 7 years of my life discarded like yesterday's trash. For someone he met on an app. Now here's where things get interesting. Because while he was moving this girl into his dad's house 6 states away, I still had something he cared about. Something we'd built together. Our dog, Rosie. Rosie wasn't just a dog. She was family. We adopted her together as a tiny ball of fur, raised her through puppyhood, and spoiled her with treats and belly rubs. She was the glue that held me together when everything else fell apart. And when the breakup came, the house was mine. The stability was mine. And Rosie? She stayed with me. He didn't fight it. In fact, he even agreed. He said, "Yeah, she'd probably be better off with you." But then... then came the kicker. "All I ask," he said, "is that you send me pictures of her sometimes. You know, keep me updated." Now I could have been the bigger person. I could have sent him sweet photos of Rosie playing in the yard, curled up in her bed, wagging her tail. But why should I give him the comfort of seeing the one innocent thing that loved us both unconditionally, when he had thrown me away like nothing? Why should I give him joy after the pain he caused me? So I smiled. I nodded. I said, "Sure. I'll email you some photos every few months." And then, every single day after, I took Rosie outside and waited. Because here's the thing about dogs. What goes in Must come out. Click. One photo, Rosie squatting in the grass, tail up, mid-poop. Click. Another one. A dramatic angle, the steaming evidence captured in high resolution. Sometimes I'd even send him short videos. The majestic soundtrack of birds chirping, with Rosie hunkered down in the background, doing her business. Every single day. No caption, no context. Just pure, unfiltered dog poop photography. Straight to his inbox. At first, he didn't respond. Then he sent a confused, thanks? But as the days turned into weeks, I knew the reality was setting in. Every time he saw my name pop up, expecting a sweet memory, he instead got a fresh reminder of exactly what he'd left behind, and exactly what I thought of him. He wanted updates? Fine. These were his updates. Now here's the part I didn't expect. While he was stewing in his own humiliation, my life started to bloom again. I reconnected with old friends I'd drifted away from during the relationship. I started saying yes to new experiences. I filled my home with laughter again. Rosie playing with my roommate's dogs, friends coming over, late nights filled with conversation and healing. For the first time in years, I wasn't weighed down by his constant criticism, his secrets, his betrayal. I was free. And as silly as it sounds, sending those poop photos became a ritual of closure. Every click of the camera, every email sent, it was me reclaiming power, piece by piece. As for him, well, last I heard, things weren't exactly picture perfect. Moving a 21-year-old TikTok fling into his dad's house wasn't the fairy tale he thought it would be. But honestly, I didn't care anymore. Because the real revenge wasn't just in the photos. It was in the life I built after him. A life filled with joy, self-respect, and people who actually deserved my love. And that, my friends, is the sweetest revenge of all. So now, sitting here months later, I like to imagine his inbox. Hundreds of unread emails. Each one promising a glimpse of the dog he abandoned. And instead, delivering a steaming reminder of who he really is. Poetic justice, served daily. You know, betrayal can break you. But sometimes the best revenge isn't grand or destructive. It's the small, relentless reminders that you're better off. And they're nothing but waste in your past. So, what do you think? Was this the perfect dose of petty justice? Have you ever gotten revenge in a hilariously satisfying way? Let me know in the comments. And if Rosie's story gave you a laugh today, smash that like button, subscribe for more. And remember, sometimes the best closure is just sending a little crap their way.